Yo guys, welcome back to another episode of Manga Review. It's episode 38, and today we are covering, or I say today, but in this episode we are covering Rent a Girlfriend, Volume 7. As you can see here, a pretty heat volume cover. We got Chizuru. Now, you guys know my opinion. I was gonna say, maybe best girl, but since we got introduced to Sumi, best girl, Chizuru has been dethroned. So I don't know. It's kind of based, but if you guys agree with me, let me know in the comments. But yeah, Chizuru here. She's watching Netflix or something. It looks like Netflix, but it says Getflix, obviously to avoid copyright. But yeah, these volume covers are pretty heat. So anyways, in this volume, a lot of stuff happens that I'm going to talk about. And so, yeah, let's get right into it. So, I guess I'll start off by giving a little summary of what happened at the end of the last volume. There wasn't, to be honest, I don't remember much about what happened at the end of the volume, but I do know that at, the very end, oh yeah, no, that's what it was. There was the date between Chizuru and Mami-chan, so that was wild. And basically Chizuru tried to bring back Mami-chan for Kazuya after being, surprisingly, the whole thing where Mami-chan rented Chizuru and found out about their whole thing. She tried to bring her back for Kazuya, and it didn't work. So she, was apologizing to him, and the more she did that, Kazuya realized that the girl he was really going to go after was Chizuru, which had kind of already been established, but I guess that had just been, that just added fuel to the fire of that whole situation. So the volume ends with Kazuya saying, "I'm fine with you," which, to be honest, is super vague, and they kind of did that on purpose, but it led myself, and I'm sure it was the point to lead people on, but in the next volume, they kind of lightly go over it, and as I predicted, nothing really became of it. It was more so, they just threw that in there to add a little hint of spice at the end, lead us on, get us to buy the next volume, and at the beginning, they crush all of our dreams at the very beginning of the next volume. But something that they did different in the next volume was they kind of saw, it wasn't like Chizuru just reacting to it and then they're "Oh, Kazuya, you're stupid," and then dipping. We kind of saw her have a deeper reaction to it. As you guys can see here, we see her, after she's gone inside to her house, and she kind of has a reaction to it that I wasn't expecting. She's obviously starts to, I guess, maybe feel something towards Kazuya after he said that. She might understand that that's not really what he meant, and she's, she understands how he really feels, but she just hasn't said anything yet. Either that, or she really does like him back, and she took what he said personally, because she thought maybe either that, or she thought he liked her, but then when he said that kind of crushed her dreams almost. It could go either way, I'm not exactly sure, but that's kind of the reaction that I'm getting from this. The next main event that we see in this volume is Kazuya goes to see one of Chizuru's plays, because obviously she's an actress and she has this, she's talking about quitting her rental girlfriend job to pursue her dreams of becoming an actress, because the only reason she got that job in the first place was to really get some practice in. So yeah, she has this big gig, some sort of ninja, she plays a shinobi or something, or rather konoichi would be the correct term for a female ninja, but that's besides the point. It's a comedy sort of play about feudal Japan, and she plays a konoichi that's clumsy, I guess. That's what I kind of got from it. and Kazuya goes to see her play, but he doesn't tell her that he's going, and he kind of watches it undercover. He doesn't want her to know that he was there, at least not during it. Maybe not to like distract her or whatever, but he wanted to see it though, and he's blown away not only by how good of an actor she is, but because she's not even the main role, she's not even like the lead of the play, but everybody in the audience is just they all want Chizuru. Like, she's almost like the main performance, like the main act, even though she isn't. And that's just how good of an actor or actress she is. And Kazuya realizes that, and yeah, so the play ends, and we switch to Chizuru's point of view. And after the whole play, she had done this play because there was like this big famous director dude who was coming to see, and if she did well enough, she could, catch his eye and just maybe be able to land her next job. But sadly, another girl gets picked, and the reason being is because the other girl has connections, she's like a family friend, so the guy picks her rather than Chizuru, even though Chizuru did a way better job. And because of this, her not being chosen, Chizuru starts to like doubt herself, and she's not feeling too hot right now. She's kind of down in the dumps, and she ends up leaving the place. As she's leaving, though, Chizuru runs into Kazuya, like literally runs into him as they're walking like past each other. And at first they didn't realize, who each other were until, they looked up and saw. And Chizuru was like, "What are you doing here?" And she saw that he had the pamphlet for the show in his hand, and she was like, kind of like, you came to watch me? You were a stalker or whatever, some Chizuru line that she usually says. But he explains, how he really just not only wanted to see her perform, but just wanted to see the play in general, and how, he thought it would be good just to see how much she's been practicing and stuff, how well she would do. But yeah. And then she says how she can't stop her clients from paying for a ticket, or really she can't stop anybody from paying for a ticket. So they just end up talking about the play, and Kazuya is telling her about how much of a good job she did. Chizuru is still sort of feeling down in the dumps though. She's finding faults in herself at this point. Like, she's making up reasons why she wouldn't have gotten picked for the role. From the director, she's, nitpicking at everything that she did and just making stuff up that she did wrong, even though she did really everything that she was supposed to do right. She's trying to find a reason why she did something wrong, maybe. Kazuya ends up giving like this whole rant or speech about how, she did amazing and that how she should never give up and stuff. So yeah, she goes home, and then she has another one of those moments where she's like, "Kazuya, you idiot," and then she's all blushy and stuff. Moments like those, though, definitely lead me to believe that there might be some progress between Kazuya and Chizuru. Definitely, I do feel like it's building up to something, but as for when we'll see anything big happen, because I thought at the end of Volume 6 that would be something big that happened, and maybe it was. Maybe that's the turning point, and that's why we're seeing Chizuru start to realize some of these feelings. But as far as like another big thing happening like that, I don't see that happening for a while. But at least, this is some development in their relationship. After this happens, though, we do get a little bit of a best girl Sumi side story piece where just kind of shows her continuing to live life and put her fullest into her rent-a-girlfriend job, because obviously she's pretty bad at it and she has like social anxiety or whatever, so she's working on herself and trying to become better at her job and develop as a person and try and get over her shyness. But then we also see that she was at the play as well, not acting, but in the audience, and that she actually sat behind Kazuya and was trying to maybe almost get his attention, but she didn't have the confidence to do it. But also, once they leave and stuff, it shows her sort of following Kazuya. Not really though. I think she may have walked along the same path or something like that, but she overhears Kazuya's whole speech thing, and she's not only, I'd say, maybe a little inspired by it, but I think she's also starting to catch feelings for Kazuya, because she sees how Kazuya is trying to inspire Chizuru, and how that's sort of what was gonna do for her when they went on their whole date thing. And yeah, I definitely see her catching feelings for Kazuya now as well. After all that though, after that whole part with the play and stuff and seeing Sumi's whole situation, we get a part where we see Kazuya at his home cleaning up, and he gets a knock on the door, the doorbell rings, and he answers it, and it turns out it's actually his dad, and just out of the blue. And his dad walks in, and he can tell that it's something serious, and he doesn't know. He's like, what's going on? He then, they sit down and talk, and he asks about Chizuru, and now this has got Kazuya worried, because he's like, oh no, did dad find out, about the whole situation, what's going on? And not exactly. So, if you guys remember, I don't know what volume it was. It may have been in the first volume, I think. Either that or sometime really early on. We saw a part where Kazuya's dad had accidentally seen a glimpse of Kazuya paying Chizuru money, and we just see Kazuya's dad, with his reaction like, what's going on here? And we thought, oh man, Kazuya's dad might catch on, but nothing ever really became of that until now. And so I sort of forgot about that whole thing, but that was a kind of a major thing that I'm surprised that I kind of forgot about. But yeah, so, he brings that up, and luckily he thinks that Kazuya was borrowing money from Chizuru, not that he was paying her. But he says, he punches him in the face and said that it's not manly to borrow money from your girlfriend or whatever. So he lends him 200,000 yen. So I don't know, I guess that's $200 maybe. So yeah, $200 just to pay Chizuru back. But he's already paid her back, I'm not gonna take your money. His dad basically just lectures him on not acting that way in front of the girl that he loves, which is honestly understandable, but luckily, he didn't have the full context. He thought he was taking money from Chizuru, not him paying her for being his girlfriend, which, I mean, if his dad saw that, that would have been way more serious, I guess, but that would have been pretty freaking pathetic. When Kazuya was giving his whole speech thing to Chizuru, he had told her that he was going to continue to rent her, pretty much to just not only hang out with her, but to pay for her to keep living on and following her dreams. He was paying for her to follow her dreams and not give up. So yeah, he continues to rent her, and they go on a fake date, and then he's like, can you just cut the crap, this whole facade, and just act like the normal you? And she's like, alright, and they end up just hanging out. But then, her date, the date ends, and they split ways, I guess. But then Chizuru calls after him, and she's like, now my shift is over, and now I know I don't have to pretend to be a rental anymore. Do you want to just hang out? And Kazuya is like, wait, that's okay, sure. So they go to like the batting cages and they're just hanging out there. Chizuru is kind of going wild out there. She hits like home runs and stuff. We do find out though that them going to the batting cages was really just a kill time, just so that they can go see Chizuru's grandma, who's back in the hospital at the end of the visiting hours, so that they wouldn't be forced to, stay there long. They can make the excuse, hey, visiting hours are over, so that they can pretty much dip whenever. So she waits until the end of visiting hours, and then she tells Kazuya to come with her to go see her grandma, because her grandma wants to see Kazuya. And yeah, they go there, they talk to her grandma, and Chizuru leaves the room, and that just leaves Kazuya with Chizuru's grandma. Chizuru's grandma basically just says about how she thinks that Kazuya is a good person and that he's perfect for her, and that he just wants him to continue to support her, because now that she's back in the hospital and she's really old, she doesn't know how much time she has left, but she wants to make sure that her granddaughter ends up with a decent person, and she believes that Kazuya is the perfect person for her, and she just pleads with Kazuya just to watch over her and keep Chizuru safe. So that whole moment I did enjoy. I love the grandmas in the show, or in the manga rather. They're most of the time pretty hilarious, especially Kazuya's grandma, always spending money on mobile games. It's pretty funny, and the whole grandma gang that they had at the hospital I found hilarious. But yeah, that whole thing happens, and I thought that was pretty legit. Anyway, the whole visiting hours end, and Chizuru and Kazuya go home for the night, and they talk for a minute on their way home, and then again they part ways, and they walk into their apartments, and then Kazuya, is just in his apartment, and then he hears the doorbell ring and goes to the doorbell, and it's Chizuru. He's like, Chizuru never rings the doorbell, what's going on? And the doorbell, he opens the door, and this moment right here happens. Yes, sir, she lost her key. She can't find it, meaning she can't get into her house, and it's nighttime. So I assume what's happening is that she wants to spend the night at Kazuya's house. Now, again, it's always at the end of the volume here, the whole volume building up to something at the end. The spice levels are through the roof. But obviously I have low hopes for the beginning of the volume and the next volume, because, again, probably nothing's going to happen. But I am excited to see what does happen with this in particular. Who knows? It could finally be the time. I doubt it. But, yeah, that's just how the volume ends. And, I definitely will be picking up the next volumes regardless. I'll probably be picking up this series till it ends, because I feel like I'm in too deep now at this point. But I am really enjoying the series. But yeah, that happens at the end there, and yeah, the next volume comes out on the 21st or 24th of September, and along with, I think on the same day, Fist of the North Star Volume 2 comes out also, so I definitely will be picking up the both of those. And yeah, I can't wait to pick up the next volume though. I am really enjoying this series, and now that I'm officially all caught up, I can read this series as it's coming out. And yeah, it's just a really enjoyable series overall, and I don't know, I can't wait for the big thing to happen that's probably just going to happen at the end of the series, the entire build-up. But yeah, all the drama between all the different girls and stuff, and Chizuru and Kazuya, it's just a really weird and interesting situation that all these characters are in, with the rental girlfriend thing, which I had never really heard about until, this manga, and I checked it out and stuff. But then I figured out it's kind of actually a real thing in Japan, which is interesting. And yeah, it's just a weird and interesting situation, and it has some spice, but also the drama keeps you very enticed. So yeah, like I said, can't wait till the next volume. But yeah, that's gonna be about it for today. I hope you guys did enjoy. I enjoyed this volume quite a bit. There was just a lot to cover in this volume. I feel like some of the stuff in some of the volumes, there's just not a lot happening all the time. But in this volume in particular, we just had a lot of content. And yeah, I speed read through this without taking a break. So really fun read, and you know, as the series as a whole is just a really fun read. We got next week, I think we're doing all Naruto manga reviews, and we'll finish up the series hopefully. And yeah, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.